just dented the door. Pop back out. Hi John, I've got a Proton for sale. £100 later and it's on my drive. Hello, you absolute legends. Welcome back to the channel. John here on a beautiful day in Lincolnshire, which has got so much better because this has just arrived. Actually, that's a bit of a lie because it was as part of a 6-car collection I purchased a little while ago. But this has only just been delivered. It is a 1996 Proton 1.5 SL, very rare on the UK roads, and it looks silver, but it's not. It's green. It's been on a farm for the past 10 to 15 years, sat unloved. We've put some wind in the tyres and rolled it onto my driveway. In this video, let's take a look at the car, have a look around it, see how honest it is, have a look underneath it, have a look inside, check out the engine bay, and see what this little car has in store. So, like I said in the introduction then, this is my first time looking at the car, and yes, I can see inside the interior. You'll see that in a minute. And normally I start with the exterior of the cars when I've bought them and give you a tour, but if you remember the last one I bought, well, this happened. Yeah, that'll do it. And so to negate the same thing happening again, I'm going to go right where we need to start today, which is under that bonnet. The way the car is sitting tells me there's probably an engine in here. Moment of truth. Aha, good. And that noise you can hear, by the way, is rust, all inside the bonnet. We'll come to that in a minute. At least there's an engine to look at. And the engine for us to look at is this, which is a MPI multi-point injection to you and me, 1.5 triple valve Magma engine. It is a Mitsubishi unit used in many cars of this era called the Magma. And the first thing I can notice from having a look under this engine bay, apart from the spiders, is there's some bits missing. I can see the throttle body is missing. I can see that for some reason the airbox has been off. These plug leads aren't connected to anything, meaning the distributor has also been nicked. There's a reason that this car has been sat at that farm for 15 years, and there's a reason we weren't able to start it up. That's a shame. That's a big shame. Apart from the missing distributor and throttle body, actually under the engine bay doesn't look too molested. In fact, the radiator looks relatively new. The battery certainly doesn't look like it's been on the car for 20 years either. There's not much else missing from what I can see. Power steering pump and all the reservoir tops are intact. The fact that that distributor and that throttle body is missing, however, tells me that somebody at some point needed to get one of these going. Let's add it up as we go along then. That's 100 quid's worth of bits missing right there. I won't even bother hooking a battery up to it because it won't start. Let's take a look then at the offside first, because I'm going to need to move the car to get to the near side. This rear panel is okay, there's a bit of a wibble in there, and the rear plastic bumper actually on this side looks unmarked. Mud flaps in good condition, and we've got all the original glass, I think, in this side. This is a problem, and I'll give you a closer look in just a minute, which is some rot on the rear wheel arch. But apart from that, actually looking down the car, apart from a big crunch in that wing, it's rather straight. One thing I do love about these later SL and SE models are the decals that are down the side. You can see you've got this sort of checkerboard decal. It has faded in its life, but it's still there. And now it's time for wildlife cam. You can see here the rot that started to set in this wheel arch, and it's actually, well, it's quite flaky, but it's solid. I couldn't pull a hole in there. It's mainly just surface, but again, we'll do a little bit of weeding. All up there looking tender as well. It's certainly a bit crusty in places. Surface rust is showing here at the top and in this wheel arch as well, but at the moment that doesn't look terminal. I can scrap the paint off it, but there's not a hole there. Let's look underneath it then, and this sill here, well, it's a bit wet, it's a bit damp, but it's not too bad. There's not a hole there. I'm concerned what we might see at the front though. Inside, oh, that's no good. The door straps are knackered on there. Inside here, what can you see? Well, it's had a repair actually at some point in its life. That's relatively solid. Looking forward to getting in there. This front door, there's a couple of wibbles here. It's not perfect. And the badges are in good condition. Let's take a look inside here as well. Yes, this is starting to go, and this is sadly not from the outside in. This is the inside out. But it could be worse. No holes there either. Ah, how am I going to put the window up? Surface rust on this front wing too, which isn't too bad. Again, surface, surface and surface. And then we come round to quite possibly what is the worst part of the car, which is the front. The lacquer peel on the bonnet is interesting. It is literally just peeling off. I think it's probably at some point in its life had a pretty poor repair. Either that or this colour was just renowned for it. Like I said, it's not silver, it's a green colour. The front bonnet is just cancerous. I've poked a hole there, I've poked a hole there, I've poked a hole nearly there, I've poked a hole there. It's like popping bubble wrap. I've poked a hole there, I've poked a hole all here. What's needed here? Well, I'll tell you what's needed here. A brand new bonnet. I can actually fold the bonnet in on itself there. That really is remarkable. I've never seen anything like that in a Proton bonnet before. That is unbelievable. Wow. I'm going to get a hammer. So it's very rare I actually get a knocking stick to one of these. It'll be very interesting just to see how corroded that bonnet is. And you can see, well, the answer is very. Rust waterfall. Mrs. John Coupland is going to love the driveway. Bodywork with John. What is that? Is that filler? It is filler. Now, that's interesting, isn't it? That's been... well, I don't know what that is. Jade? Is that Malaysian jade? I think we've established that the bonnet is absolutely posh rotten, which is a bit of a shame. Comes with free bonnet. Oh, Mrs. John Coupland's going to be furious. Oh well. Excuse me, there's a hole in the front of my Proton. Don't worry about that, sir. That's weight saving. Rotten. Nearly rotten. Rotten. Nearly rotten. Nearly rotten. Everything else, though, is good. Why is this front edge just rotted to pieces. You missed a bit on your galvanisation. So it's clear that the front end of the car really does let it down, and aside from the unexplainable cancerous rot on the front of the bonnet and the lacquer peel, actually the lights are good at the front. This indicator's good. You can see where it's discoloured the grille here, because this is plastic obviously, where the rust has dripped down. The front bumper though, in good condition, and it's good that it wears its original P34 HNC number plate. Simon Brook Cars Bridlington. That's a sticker. I wonder what's under there. I'm going to have to peel this off, aren't I? And hopefully being in the sunshine all day has loosened this up a bit. What are we thinking? HNC. Clever people will be able to tell me where the car was registered. I'm expecting to see Proton UK or something very similar. Oh, I thought that was going to come off in one and be like an ASMR treat for us all. No, Simon Brook Cars Bridlington. This has lasted a long time and it's done a good job. I'm seeing a line. Oh, hang on a minute. That's a Daewoo badge. Daewoo? What? Why has it got a Daewoo number plate? Where's my Proton number plate? Boo! Thumbs down for Daewoo. There's a close-up of that. I genuinely think that is probably the original number plate with the car. Why on earth does it say Daewoo? Now I've completed my how to hit protons with a hammer course, I'm actually going to tap at this wheel arch as well. It's not rotten, it's filthy, but it's not rotten. I'm okay with that. So I have noticed that the original wheel trims are missing. This should have the triangular tri-shape wheels on, such as is on my white SE. There are in the back here some pretty naff aftermarket wheel trims. They're going straight in the bin. And you, get in the bin. And it's a similar story here at the back. Daewoo rear number plates as well. So it's not sitting low at the rear like the previous car, meaning there's probably not a gearbox in the boot. But are there other surprises? Let's pop the boot and find out. Ah, that's good. The boot release mechanism does not work. Thankfully I've got the keys. ×2 as well. Okay. Moment of truth. Oh. That's why it doesn't work. Oh no, it was free. It's not on lock. Well, I didn't expect that. So what is in the boot, John, I hear you cry? Well, pretty much sod all. What is this? Tefal Fresh Express. Oh, right. Oh. It actually is the Tefal Fresh Express. Oh. You can make a salad in your Proton. Oh! Protons. Get it? Protons. Now something in here that is really useful, and I'm not sure if it is a genuine Proton item, is this rubberized boot mat. Take that out and have a look. I can't see any Proton part numbers on it, but I'll be reusing that. And, well, there's signs of water in the boot here, but not too bad. This rubberized is the genuine Proton mat. Aha! Oh, a brand new spare wheel. Oh, with the SP Sport D8 tyre on. That's coming out of there, I can tell you that for free. And the jack. No toolkit though, from what I can see. That's a shame. Now, if you're au fait with these old Protons, you know actually that they fail at the suspension mounting point here, and you can often see where they've gone rusty, but this one, well, it's just starting to go, but it's relatively solid there. Let's have a look down here. There we go. There's the rust. There we go. There it is. Daylight. And you can't see that very well, but I've just put my finger through it. That's a problem, isn't it? If I had my hammer, I could probably put a big hole through that. Oh dear. That's game over for this Proton, I think, because that is the offside wheel arch in there. Let's get me hammer. Are you ready, boys and girls? Big problem. The hammer of justice has clearly caused a big hole in there. I can get my entire hand through that hole. It's not beyond repair, but it's an absolute ball ache to get to. It's right down there. Let's have a look at the other side. Oh dear. The other side is actually much worse. There we go. Yeah. Big problem. And you know what? They all do it. Oh, that's mud. That's all mud in there, look, on my fingers. Big hole. Now it's going to be versus the hammer. Proton versus hammer. That entire wheel arch has fell out. Oh dear. Look at all this mud and rot that's fell off that. That is game over for this car. So now I've seen that, I know exactly what its fate is going to be. This car is going to be stripped, scrapped and sent round the banger track. There's nothing else you can do with that. It's not worth the welding. That's a shame, isn't it? And now I've seen that, I know that if I was to take this rear seat out, the top there will also be as rotten. Am I surprised by that at this stage? No. No, I'm not. The amount of rot on the bonnet meant that if that was visible, what was not visible, and you can see from within those boot cavities and on that wheel arch, just what wasn't visible. We shall carry on, however, with the video. Now I know that the fate of this Proton is sealed. Let's take a look at the interior. So things I've noticed from the interior here is that it's got the later P-Reg rear belt buckles that say Centeron that are a different brand and a different style to the early cars. The actual interior, it will probably clean up quite nicely. I'm not, however, going to take this rear bench seat out and salvage it because I don't have any 96 SLs that need an interior. The headlining's good though, and it's nice and dry. Anyone for a picnic? Aftermarket floor mats, made in England. They can stay in the car, I think. Oh, there's a map here. Anything else in these pockets? No. Looking at the back though, apart from a little bit of dirt, it's not too bad. There's not much here I'll salvage. John, surely there must be more for you to salvage from the car than a few badges and some windows. Yeah, probably. Oh dear. You wait till we look at this side. and I get the hammer of justice in there. The interior at the front have got a few things that I want to take out, such as this, which is an ashtray. These go yellow and brittle over time, and you can see by the sticker on the bottom, PW515992, made in Malaysia by Bosch, that this is in really good condition. This has not deteriorated. That's one piece of the puzzle that I'll be saving. Other things from the interior that I will salvage include the gear knob, which is in really good condition, and the gear gaiter surround, and a few bits and pieces from the centre console. There is in here a Proton Haynes service and repair manual, which of course I shall gift to Dad. And you know, I said about it being dry. Well, this is very damp. So there's clearly some sort of leak coming from somewhere. What's in the glove box? Nothing. There's not a lot left in this car. I'm saddened there's not even the original floor mats. Where have they gone? I don't think I'm even going to take the headrests. Very sad. Poor thing. What's next then? Well, let's check out the near side, because actually the offside driver's side of the car is quite good. But I need to get to a position where I can see it first, and that means that I'm going to have to use some brute strength. Oh, don't tell me I've just locked the keys in the boot. I don't like pushing on these boot lids. But, faint heart, oh my goodness. I think I might need to tow it with my van. Okay. So I've got it to a point now where I can see the near side. Oh, you want to see it too? Yeah, okay. Before we do, let's just take a quick look at the rear here. The boot lid is actually in very good condition. There is a little bit of greenery that started growing on the back. Get rid of that. But the rear bumper is in relatively good condition. This, however, has broken, which is a big shame because these are rare. This sort of after the GLS edition garnish. These were only fitted to a higher level of car. If you'd got a black one of these on your Proton, you poor. MPI, multi-point injection. Actually, the exhaust looks in quite good condition. Hang on a minute. Am I going to have to start taking the exhaust off this? Maybe not. Yeah. I think we need to speak to Padre Coupland and get that exhaust off there, because that exhaust is much better than the one that's on my white SE. Yes, that's being salvaged. Okay, let's take a look at this near side then. Where are we going to start? Well, let's just start with an overall view, I think. There it is. There is the absolute weapon that is the 1.5 SL. I'm going to come over here and kick this wheel trim off. Get off. Get off my Proton. Trash. Yeah. Well, that's dealt with the aftermarket terrible wheel trim. Let's take a look at this side. Oh, no. That's a shame, because they are like the proverbial rocking horse in good condition, especially a genuine original one. You can get aftermarket ones and later ones, but that's quite a big shame. Okay, let's have a look at this wheel arch. It's actually very good, this wing and arch. There's a little bit of rot here and a little bit here, which is surface, but apart from that, well, that's very good. Let's have a look in there. Yeah, a bit rusty, but no major issues. I'm going to take that badge off the car. I'm going to take that badge off the car. Made in Malaysia. This glass looking okay, this door is all okay as well. Actually, let's look down the side of the car, because there's hardly any dints or knocks there. You know, that is quite straight down there. There's a big wibble there, and that's about it. But let's look at this wheel arch now then. I think we need the knocking stick of justice to take a look at that. And well, let's just forget what we found here for a moment. Ah, thank you for looking after my hammer. Good. Salvage. Put that to one side. So that actually now shows us the extent of the rot in there. That is actually inside the boot and that arch. It's clearly very rotten. It needs this whole area patching. It's very poor. That might need a refurb too. Right, knocking stick of justice. Well, that appears to be surface, which is good news. Let's have a look at this sill. Okay, that looks good. 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 This sill is good. Ah, I spoke far too soon. This sill has got a great big hole in it. That's a shame. Let's get the knocking stick and see how bad it is. Ah, yeah. That's quite bad. I can get most of my fingers in there, and here too. But look at that view. Look at them lines. The sun is setting across Lincolnshire, and it's, well, could be worse. So I've been a bit more brisk with my knocking stick now, and as you can see, well, there certainly is a big hole there and a big hole there. It's not beyond repair, don't get me wrong, but that's a problem, that is. Okay, let's do the same again then and look at the inside of the doors. This side is a lot worse. And does that correlate to the hole? No, actually it doesn't. The hole is here in comparison. Let's get the knocking stick. There's a hole. You start grinding that back. There's a, oh, there it is. Okay. That's no good. There's a hole in there. That'll be a hole. That's quite solid. Surface. Solid. Solid. But again, there's a hole. Take a listen to this. When you slam the passenger door, oh, there's some nice rust rolling about in there too. It's a shame I'm too fat to stand in the car and hang out the sunroof. Now, every time I release a Proton video, the folks in Malaysia go crazy for the aftermarket sunroof. So, as a special treat, I thought I'd show you this sunroof. Every time I film a Proton in the UK with a sunroof, the people in Malaysia lose their minds. They absolutely love the idea because on the Malaysian domestic market, they did not get a sunroof. This, being the later P-Reg edition, actually gives you a Proton branded. Before then, fitted at the import centre in Bristol were Webasto top slider 2s, and on the very early cars, a Webasto top slider, which were electric. This then, being an auto glass model, has the blinds here and quite possibly one of the longest opening cycles for a sunroof I have ever seen. We're still going. There it is. It's got this plastic surround as opposed to a fabric one on the early top slider 2s. But as a sunroof, it's quite a useful thing. They all leak though. And let's take a look at that sunroof from the top. In fact, some cams here push the glass up before pushing it back. You see them? They're the cams that come up and push the glass back, and it takes a long old windy turn to open it fully. It's on these sort of like screw augers. I now want to do something I've seen done before, but I've never had the balls to do it, and that is a door slam endurance test. What's going to happen when I slam this door? Well, apart from the rust falling off, nothing else has. Now let's do the same with the driver's door. This could end badly. Or not. That fell off. But I bet the window still closes. Here's something I've always wanted to do. Test the robustness of the metalwork. Not very, but it popped out again. Well, there you have it then. This little 1.5 SL will not be going back on the road. It is far too rusty and needs far too much work to get it going again. It's a shame about those missing engine parts, but what is going to happen to it? Well, I'm going to strip it. And then the carcass will be going to the Banger Boys for them to do whatever they want with it. I'm sure they will probably throw it around a racetrack at Skegness at some point this year. It's a fitting end for the car, it saves it sitting there rotting, and the parts are going to waste. Some of you will be shouting at me, John, restore it, there's not many of these left. It's not worth it. It genuinely is not worth the time and the money, and that is a big shame. And that is something that does actually pain me. But parts, trim, stuff that people can use, it keeps another one on the road, doesn't it? If you've enjoyed this video, thumbs up please if you haven't already done so. Let me know in the comments down below. Am I making a terrible mistake by stripping this for spare parts and sending it around a racetrack? Yeah, probably, but that is what's going to happen. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so, because there are lots more Proton videos still to come. If you've enjoyed it, thumbs up. Until next time, thanks for watching. Goodbye. There are so many more Proton related videos on the channel, and I've actually selected a couple that I think you might like here on this page. Give them a click to watch them now. Don't forget to subscribe for more Proton fun and lots more videos coming soon.